Hi Stampers! Welcome back to my channel. So normally what I do is I take a stamp set and I make 5 different cards for you. Today I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to take one layout and make 5 different cards using 5 different stamp sets. So I know you all have heard me use the term casing before, and so I'm going to case a card out of the Stampin Success catalog. There was an article. The article is about the new 2019 in colors. I'm sure one of the artesian members made this card. I'm not sure which one did, but I really love the watercolor wash and the way that everything was monochromatic. I really like this card, and I'm going to show you what my version of this card would be. So if I was going to case this card, I have a lot of different things that I would do sometimes. Sometimes I'll take photos, sometimes I'll pin them, sometimes I take out I have lots of little notebooks that I make sketches of cards in. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I think of a card and I come in here and I jot it down, and if I'm going to make it right then, sometimes it doesn't include a lot of detail. If I'm going to take it to a crop or something, I might try and include more detail with it. So anyway, I have lots and lots of notebooks like this that I jot my ideas down in, and normally my ideas come from somebody else's ideas, so I'm constantly casing somebody else's ideas. Like, for instance, this card in the Stampin Success catalog. If when I would case this card, what would go on in my head is I would look at this and say, okay, it's a nice vertical card. I would want my card to be vertical in order for that little wash to work. I'm just going to sketch this out for you, by the way, and I'm going to use just a black colored pencil to make sure that you can see it. So I'm going to put it on a card base. Most of my cards are on a 5.5 by 4.25 card base. Next, I like the way that she used the end colors, so I want to do one in each of the end colors. I like for my next layer to be about 1/4 of an inch in, and I want to use each of the end colors, but I also want to, I think I want to dry emboss this. So I want to dry emboss, and this piece of paper is going to be like 5.25 by 4. I'm going to dry emboss a piece of the 2019 in color paper. And then she had that piece of watercolor wash that went across the middle, and it went from edge to edge. I like that. It was like a 4 by 3 piece of paper, and we're going to watercolor wash it. In the end colors. And then the other thing that it had was it had a little tag going across the bottom, and it was really quite simple. It was just a little dart, and then it had a sentiment. And that was pretty much the layout of the card. What else that I really liked was that stamped on that card in the same color was a design behind the tag. So I want this card to have, I'm just going to kind of make this be impressions of leaves, I guess. I want this to be stamped in the same color as the wash. And then it had a really nice 3D element to it. So I want there to be like a 3D element. And it was stamped in the same color on white. So, same color, stamped on white. Is how I want that. So there you go. That's kind of how I would case this card. And from here, I can go a lot of different directions using this same layout. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to do that watercolor wash. And I'm just going to use a piece of 110 white paper. You could use the shimmery white paper also. If you use the thinner cardstock, it will peel up. It will peel up like a cotton sheet, and you won't like it. And now with the watercolor wash, you're not going to work with it a long time anyway. This is supposed to be done quickly. If I was going to do just a tiny bit of wash, I would just do it in the lid. But this is a good size piece, so I'm going to get some ink on a block instead of working inside the lid. And I'm going to have another block here that I'm going to work on too, because I might have to go back into the ink with the block, and so I'm going to try not to get this one too wet. If I do, I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe it. Let me grab one quick. I have a paper towel ready to go in case I need it. So this is supposed to be just done really quickly. I'm just going to take an aqua painter, put some water on this block, and I'm going to put some of the water or some of the ink in with this water and make it the pretty blue. Oh, by the way, I'm using Pretty Peacock for this card. It's one of the new 2019-2021 in colors. So this is just going to be done quickly. I just want to get the color on here, and sort of like the blender pens, you don't want to go over this too many times, but I want the whole thing to be covered. Now I want some different colors in here too. I mean, I want it to not just be all one blue. So I'm going to make it be just a little bit darker for this next part. And again, this has to be done quickly. I just want a few more little parts in here, but that will be like a little bit darker. But oops, not much. There we go. Give this some more water. There. And again, if you play with this too long, it will just look like a peeled up sheet. So, after this is all dried up, and with the power of Magic Video, it's dried up. After it's all dried up, we would want to stamp on it then. And for this first card here that I'm going to show you, I'm going to use this stamp set. Seaside Notions. I like this little stamp set. It's cute. I'm going to take this stamp, the piece of coral, and again, I'm just going to use the same color, the Pretty Peacock, and I want to stamp in this area just some little pieces of this coral. Maybe the first piece will hang off, and then the second piece maybe go this way, and then just a little bit more, and it can overlap because there's going to be that label, that little banner label on top. And so next, I have my banner label already ready to go. It's going to go in this area here. So I wanted to do the dry emboss piece of paper on top of the card base. So I have my card base, and I did a dry emboss. I used the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. It's very pretty. And it's glued down on, oh, and it's in the Pretty Peacock color. It's the 5.25 by 4 piece. And so next I want to glue this, actually next I want to put some ribbon on it. This is the scalloped linen ribbon in the Pretty Peacock color. I'm gonna get a piece of this. Here we go. And I'm going to just put it across the bottom here. And I prefer to tape my ribbon down. Some people like to glue it. I just like to use regular tape. So I'm just going to tape it down. Some regular tape here. And then next I'm going to use, I glued this down. When you're using the dry embossed paper, it works better with glue. And a glue that won't cause your paper to buckle up is this multi-purpose Tombow Mono glue, which Stampin' Up does, so it works really well. And it dries fast and it won't make your paper buckle. And so I'm going to put some of it on the back of this watercolor wash that we did. Leave about an inch on each side of that piece of paper. And then I have the little banner punch or banner tag ready to go. This was just 1 inch, and I used the banner punch at the end. Have some dimensionals on the back already, and we'll stick that here to the edge also. With this stamp set, oh, that was a sentiment from this stamp set too, by the way. I stamped in the Pretty Peacock one of the shells and a sand dollar and another little shell, and then I fussy cut them out. And so let's glue this shell. It's a lot of glue. Let's glue this shell here. It's going to be my stamped element that I was talking about. And let's glue this shell down next. I think I'm going to do it like this-ish. Something like that. Yeah. Because my sentiment needs to show. And then the sand dollar. So that was pretty much the same layout that she used in the catalog. The only thing really that I did differently was I added an embossed piece of paper. I like more layers. There we go, that's easier for me. But mostly it's the same. So there's that card with the Seaside Notions. I also did it in, let's see, I did it in Daisy Lane. I used the subtle, it's hard for me to say that word for some reason, the subtle 3D folder for that one. It just has a subtle impression on that one. with the Daisy Lane. Same thing though, I did the watercolor wash and then stamped with the terracotta tile is this color. And then I stamped the terracotta tile on the white 3D element. And I fussy cut these leaves, and then this is a punch. The next card that I did is with the Dandelion Wishes and the purple posy. So I used the Dandelion Wishes, and I also used the butterfly Gala for the butterflies. And this one I had the scalloped laced ribbon. It's just a white ribbon. Instead of coordinating perfectly, you could just use a white ribbon. And I also, for this one, I stamped it in Highland Heather. The purple posy I don't have right now. The next card that I did is in the Rococo Rose, and I used Free as a Bird for my stamping. Just stamp the little birds, and then I fussy cut out the flower, and I used the same sentiment on all of them, this happy birthday one. And I did this one in the Seaside. Oh, I always forget the name. Seaside Spray. And the Sailing Home stamp set. I used, this is the same swirly curls embossing folder. I just used the other side of it. Same thing, I did the watercolor wash in the same color and stamped with the same color. Cut out the anchor with a die cut. I didn't really use a ribbon on this one. This layout is even really cute without a ribbon. I think this was my favorite one of all of them. On this one also, I used that Country Floral 3D folder. And with this one, I used the Tufted, I believe is what that folder's called. Tufted 3D folder. And I used the same happy birthday stamp as I did in the very first one. And see, with the swirls and curls, I used it one way here and a different way here. I don't know if you can see that. I like it both ways. So there you go, same layout, 3 different stamp sets, and all the new in colors, of course. And that's my way of casing. Sometimes I copy a lot more, sometimes I like to add my own thing. Any way is not a right way or a wrong way. If I've missed anything and you have any questions about any of these cards, just leave me a comment at the bottom and I'll answer it back. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.